Hello from the Big South Network studio. I'm Mark Bryant with another installment of our preview series for Big South Baseball 2025. Very happy to have with me right now the head coach of the Asheville Bulldogs, Scott Friedholm. Scott, thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having us. This is a great day.
Let's take a step back before we get into this season. Your squad, the student athletes, everybody at UNC Asheville had to deal with Hurricane Helene back in the fall. Where do things stand now, and what aftermath is still left? What impacts to the season are still there?
Honestly, it just made the fall a unique situation for us as a whole. Where we are right now, we're moving forward as a program. We're starting to move forward as a city. Obviously, I can't speak on behalf of everything going on, but the university itself is starting to move forward. We're back in classes this spring, which is great. To have these guys back on campus and for us to be back on campus again, it's great. So we're ready for the 2025 season and we're ready to keep moving forward.
And you've got 10 years under your belt in this league already. And how would you describe the week-to-week level of competition that's in the Big South, and how does that shape your expectations for this year?
Honestly, it hasn't changed from when I came in 10 years ago. The teams, we may have some different teams, but the level is always the same. When I got here, we had 11 or 12 teams. Now we have 9, but the level is the same. And it's a terrible cliche, I don't mean it, but every weekend is a little battle. It's a little war, and it's hard to win in this league. So you have to have your guys ready. And I think this league also prepares us for our midweeks that we have to go a lot of times to an SEC or an ACC team, and we're ready to compete with them every weekend.
Colby Guy is the Big South preseason pitcher of the year. What makes him so effective?
His level of compete. And I know that's not the proper English, but he competes his tail off every time he's out there. He's completely undersized. He's 5'9", he weighs 160 pounds, and you don't expect to see what he brings at you, and all of a sudden it's 94, 95. And all he wants to do is compete on that mound and win. And I said it to someone earlier, I love his dad and his mom because they yell everything from the stands that I want to yell to him. And it's basically, don't worry about anything else, just keep competing. If something goes wrong his way, they yell at him, don't worry about it, keep competing, keep competing. And he was obviously raised that way. And I think that kid will compete at you in a game of cribbage if he wants to. So yeah, it's a different level for him.
So we know where he's coming from, what space he occupies. Who are the other pitchers contending for spots in the rotation?
Yeah, well, Clay Edmondson, who was going to be our number 1 last year, was injured at the University of Georgia opening weekend. So he's back 100% healthy. Nick Bruno is now a junior, but got some experience as a sophomore under his belt and has kept growing. He's getting better. And then we have a couple new guys with Matthew Hall, John Whiteside, Nick Melton, who's a junior now. So there's some guys that are stepping up, and I think we can find our 8 to 10 pitchers that can help us on the weekend.
From an everyday player perspective, who are some of the key returning guys, and where's the leadership coming from?
Well, that's simple. That's the guy that came with us today, in Corbin Lanowitz. He's our senior infielder, outfielder, a little bit of everything. He wears number 6 in our program. He's the guy that I turn to, but also he's the guy that got 39 players back to UNC Asheville after Greensboro, because they didn't have to come back to campus. They could go home if they wanted, and we still had 19 days to practice, and he got all 39 of them back to campus. So he is single-handedly our leader, and I'm going to put that pressure on him, but he's also mature enough to wear that.
Well, you alluded to the jersey. The number 6 is a tradition for you. Explain that.
Yeah, so 4 or 5 years ago, Mike Schilt, the manager of the San Diego Padres, called and said one of his teammates passed away. A guy named Jeff Fox, who wore number 6 while playing at UNC Asheville. And he was, the 3 words that described him from his players, from his teammates and his family, was determination, dedication, and loyalty. And what better way can we honor that by choosing a player in our program that best describes those 3 words? So each year we hand out the number 6 in honor of Jeff Fox. Last year was Cameron Johnson, our starting third baseman and all-conference player. This year it's going to be Corbin Lanowitz. And again, it doesn't always have to be on the field. This year, Corbin is single-handedly probably our greatest position player, but it was the leadership that he showed at Greensboro while we were there for 19 days that kept us together, that it was coaches, we didn't have a close second. It was Corbin Lanowitz was wearing number 6 for us this year.
Excellent. And you touched on a name I want to circle back to. Padres manager Mike Schilt. Talk about Asheville Bulldogs in pro ball, and I know he's the headliner.
He is the headliner. I mean, we got Blake Brown and Jacob Edwards still playing. Dominic Freeberger's with the Orioles still. They're all in the minors, working their way up. But obviously, Mike Schilt, who is a graduate of UNC Asheville, was the manager of the year with the Cardinals, and now has been with the Padres. This will be his second year. Got them to the playoffs last year and had a nice little run. Unfortunately, they ran into a buzzsaw called the Dodgers. We're a pretty good team, but I think they're going to make another good run at it this year. So we're obviously, we got 39 Padres fans in Asheville, so we're always very proud of Mike and what he does.
Talked about the level of competition. We know the gauntlet that the Big South provides, but what have you got in the non-conference schedule that folks have to look forward to?
Yeah, so, obviously you want to challenge yourself. We got a couple teams from the north coming down early. We got Fairleigh Dickinson out of Jersey, Stonehill out of Boston. But then the ones where you go on the road, where you challenge yourself. The second weekend, we're going to UNC Wilmington. And then our fourth weekend before conference starts, we're going to Western Kentucky. So both are very strong programs, and both that are in very good conferences. So we're going to make sure we're ready to get on the road when we go to to Gardner-Webb or to High Point, and we're ready to roll. And we're not afraid of that environment when we get there.
We wish you and all the Bulldogs the best of luck this season, and we thank you for watching another installment of our baseball preview series for the 2025 season.